Everyone was watching for the moment she would fall. The analysts, the opposition, the international press. And they had good reasons. March 2026. Italy voted on her flagship judicial reform. 54% said no. It was Meloni's first major defeat since coming to power in October 2022. The polls moved immediately. She lost more than 10 points in weekly surveys. For the first time, people were talking about vulnerability, about coalition cracks, about 2027. Then Trump attacked her. Then Solovyov attacked her. Then Mattarella challenged her security decree. Then the Nordio pardon scandal broke. And then the prediction markets put a number on it. 94%. That is the probability polymarket traders assign to Meloni still being Prime Minister by the end of June 2026. Not 6%, not 50%, 94%. The people who bet money on political outcomes, the people who cannot afford to be wrong, looked at everything Meloni had been through and concluded she is not going anywhere. This is the story of why they are right, and what it reveals about the most misunderstood leader in Europe. To understand the Meloni paradox, you need to start in 2012, not 2022 when she became Prime Minister, not 2019 when her party started rising, when she founded Brothers of Italy, the party that would become the vehicle for everything that followed. At the time, nobody was watching. Italy had 70 governments since World War II. Another party, another leader, another round of coalition politics. Brothers of Italy got 2% of the vote in its first election. 2%. By 2022, it had 26%. By 2024, it had nearly 30%. That trajectory, from the fringe to the centre of Italian power, did not happen by accident. It happened because Meloni understood something that most politicians never learn. Survival is not about avoiding attacks. It is about absorbing them. Every attack that does not destroy you becomes material for your story. The referendum defeat was supposed to be the beginning of the end. But look at what actually happened. Meloni lost 10 points in the polls after the referendum. Then Trump called her unacceptable. Then Solovyov called her a wild beast. And her poll numbers recovered, back to pre-referendum levels, in 1 week. Not because she did anything brilliant, because her enemies did something stupid. Trump attacking the Pope in a Catholic country was not a neutral act. It handed Meloni the one issue where the entire Italian political spectrum, left, right, centre, would automatically rally behind her. She did not manufacture that opportunity, she simply recognized it and moved. And Solovyov's insult did the same thing. The opposition cannot attack Meloni without looking like they agree with Moscow. The left cannot pile on without amplifying Russia's message. The insult created a political shield that no press conference, no policy announcement, no strategic communications plan could have built. Her enemies built it for her. This is not luck. This is pattern recognition. Meloni has been in Italian politics since she was 19 years old. She was the youngest minister in Italian history when Berlusconi appointed her in 2008. She has watched governments rise and fall. She has seen the techniques used to destabilize coalitions. She has seen how attacks land and how they backfire. She knows that in Italian politics, the most dangerous moment is not when your enemies attack you. It is when your allies decide you are weak. After the referendum, the pressure came from inside. Salvini pushed on Russia, on energy, on the coalition agenda. The kind of quiet pressure that has ended Italian governments before. And Meloni flew to the Gulf. Not to escape, to demonstrate. She signed energy deals. She met heads of state. She returned with agreements. She showed the coalition, and the markets, and the press, that she was not diminished by the referendum. She was still governing. That is the Meloni method. When the pressure rises at home, produce results abroad. When the coalition wobbles, demonstrate you are irreplaceable. When your enemies attack, let them overreach, and then absorb. Now consider the full list of what she has absorbed in 2026 alone. A referendum defeat, 10 points lost in the polls. Trump's public rebuke. I'm shocked at her. I thought she had courage. Solovyov's insult on Russian state television. A constitutional standoff with her own president over the security decree. The Nordio pardon scandal. Berlusconi's shadow reaching into her justice ministry, NATO pressure on defence spending she cannot meet, an energy crisis she did not start and cannot fully control. Any one of these would have ended most governments. She absorbed all of them, and her approval rating, according to Ipsos, stands at 42 to 44%. Not collapsing, not surging, holding. In Italian politics, holding is winning, because Italian politics does not reward perfection. It rewards durability. Berlusconi understood this. He survived scandal after scandal by simply remaining, by never giving his enemies the resignation they wanted, by making removal more costly than endurance. Meloni has learned the same lesson. On April 9th, she stood before Parliament and said it explicitly. She vowed to govern through the full 5-year mandate ending in 2027. No resignations, no cabinet reshuffles. She was not inviting challenge, she was closing the door on it. That is a statement of political dominance, not defiance. It tells the coalition, I am not going anywhere. Plan accordingly. It tells the opposition, the door you are waiting to open does not exist. It tells the markets, there is no political vacuum coming. Invest accordingly. There is one more element to the Meloni paradox that analysts consistently underestimate. She has no obvious successor. In Italian coalition politics, leaders fall when the coalition calculates that someone else can lead more effectively. But who replaces Meloni? Salvini? He has tried to lead Italy before. He miscalculated. He lost. Tajani? He is Berlusconi's heir, a different tradition, a different base. Inside Brothers of Italy, there is no figure with her profile, her history, her international recognition. She is not just the leader of a coalition, she is the reason the coalition exists in its current form. Remove her, and you do not get a better coalition, you get a different country. The prediction markets understand this, the bond markets understand this, and slowly, even her opponents are beginning to understand it. Her opposition has always said she was subservient to Trump, political scientist Giovanni Orsina told CNN. Now it has been harder for her opponents to attack her. That is not a compliment from a supporter. That is an admission from someone watching the evidence. The evidence is simple. She started with 4%. She has 27% now. She survived Berlusconi's fall, the rise of the five-star movement, the chaos of the Draghi years. She has been in the room when Italian politics at its most volatile and survived every round. And she has done it without a single dramatic gesture. No grand speeches about fighting to the last. No theatrical resignations withdrawn at the last moment. Just the daily, grinding, patient work of political survival. There is one last detail worth sitting with. In Italian, there is a word that does not translate cleanly into English. Resistenza. It means resistance. But in the Italian political context, it means something more specific. It means the capacity to endure pressure that would break others. Berlusconi had it. He survived things that would have ended careers in any other democracy. Andreotti had it. He governed Italy 7 times across 4 decades. Meloni has it. And the question that the next 16 months will answer is not whether she can survive the next crisis. She has proven she can survive crises. The question is whether survival is enough to win. Because in December 2027, Italian voters will not just be asking, has Meloni held on? They will be asking, has she delivered? On immigration, on energy prices, on wages, on the economy. Those are the questions that cannot be answered by absorbing attacks. Those are the questions that require results. And that is the one test the Meloni method has not yet faced. She has absorbed everything her enemies threw at her. Now she has to deliver something her voters asked for. The woman who absorbs everything is still absorbing, and the file on how she does it is still open. Subscribe to the Record Room, because the next file is already open.